So as I promised, this is part 2 to last week's video where I talked about shots. In this video, I'll be talking about different angles and the most popular angles that are used in whatever production you'll be seeing either on film or TV. So as I mentioned in the beginning of last week's video, when you're telling a story via film or TV, what you're doing is you're using a series of shots and angles and a combination of two that's best to describe the story that you're trying to convey to your audience in the best way. And the angles play a crucial part in expressing the emotion or tone that you're trying to get the audience to feel or to decipher when they're watching your productions. So this week we're going to be breaking down the angles that I most typically use whenever I'm making something, but these are also angles that are popularly used in Hollywood. So getting right into it, we're going to be talking about the low angle. Now, I love the low angle, and whatever work you see me do, I have the low angle. If I could have it everywhere, I would. And what's important about the low angle, or the thing that I like about the low angle, is that it shows off power to the character. It's great when you're introducing heroes and villains because it shows off how powerful they are, whether the situation's dire or the situation's hopeful. If you combine it with the right music and the right colors and the right tone, the low angle can be really imposing towards the viewers. Now, I love the low angle because, like I said, I like making my subjects look bigger in a frame, give them more importance. And when you take directors such as Terrence Malick, who uses the low angle literally in everything, I'm heavily inspired by his work. So if you see my work and be like, wow, he shoots a lot of stuff from a low angle, just know that I'm heavily inspired by Terrence Malick and his work, like The Tree of Life and A Hidden Life and things of the sort. Now, as a low angle shows off how powerful someone is, a high angle, on the other hand, showcases how weak, vulnerable, powerless, scared someone might be. And when you have these two angles played against each other, you create a power balance where someone's really strong and someone really weak. So it could be a villain beating down a hero. You capture the villain from a low angle and the hero from a high angle to showcase that the hero is being beaten down and the villain is doing the beating. Now, a high angle is also really good to showcase establishing shots and locations. So it's typically used if you're flying a drone, you'll have like a really extremely high angle to showcase the entire scene or the location that you're in. So just remember that the high angle showcases weak and powerlessness, scared, and a low angle showcases triumph, power, and it makes the subject within your frame look bigger and stronger.
Who are you? The lasso of Hastia compels you to reveal the truth. Now, who are you?
Next on the list is the bird's eye view, or the top-down angle, which is used in a lot of cooking shows or product assemblies when you're trying to showcase a product or your cooking abilities. These are types of shots that you'll see in something like TV series or TV shows like the BBC or ITV cooking, the Great British Bake Off. You might see a top-down shot, or when you're assembling like a gimbal, for example, or pieces of tech, you might see a top-down shot. It's very popularly used in YouTube. However, it's also very greatly used in film and TV, and it usually kind of associates itself as a divine shot, kind of like God looking down on humanity and seeing how things transpire. It's also greatly used in crime scenes or crime thrillers and documentaries, or showcasing a crime place where you see everyone kind of moving around, dead bodies, or where a crime has happened. It's also really good to showcase movement and complex, maybe fight scenes. A top-down shot or an over-the-head shot is really good for that, because you can place all the motion within that one shot as they're moving throughout the frame.
Morpheus is fighting Neo.
Now next on the list is the eye level angle, and the eye level angle is what the medium shot is essentially, and it's the most popular angle used in whatever medium you're watching things in, whether it's TV or film, YouTube, whatever. The eye level angle partnered up with the medium shot is what's typically used. It's great for addressing people like this, where I'm breaking the fourth wall and I'm speaking to the audience, which is you guys. The eye level helps you to keep that neutrality between the subject and the audience. So unlike the low angle, which gives the subject power, or the high angle, which takes power away from the subject, the eye level angle gives neutrality to the shot. Like I mentioned before, it's the most natural way in which we see people or have conversations with people. We have conversations at eye level. Even if that person is higher or lower, to us it's eye level, which is why I'm speaking to you guys from an eye level, because it's good to address the audience that way, which is why the MPs or presidents from whatever country you might be in, they address the public or the audience from an eye level, typically paired up with a medium shot or a medium close-up. Next on the list is the over-the-shoulder shot, and the over-the-shoulder shot, or the OTS as we refer to, is typically used when you're having a conversation with someone. So you'll position the camera, as the name suggests, behind the shoulder or over the shoulder of someone, focusing on another character as they're having a dialogue. And when you partner up the over the shoulder with a high angle or a low angle, you really begin to shift the balance or the power structure or the power dynamics within that scene. So play around with the over the shoulder shot, because it's great for dialogue scenes, and it's really good to show off the reaction of someone as they're receiving either good news or bad news from the person giving that news to them, I suppose. Yeah. Now I love using the over the shoulder shot because I feel like it's the best way to kind of cheat in a sense. If you don't have an idea of what you want to do for shots, first, like I said, you put the master in, the master shot, you have it there, and when they're having a dialogue, you go from over the shoulder from one side, over the shoulder to the other side, back to the master, back to the over the shoulder from one side, back over the shoulder to the other side, and so on and so forth. So I think it's really easy and really simple, especially when you want to make things quick and easy for your production when it comes to a dialogue scene. Now last on the angles that I'm going to be talking to you guys about today is the ground level angle. As the name suggests, you're keeping the camera on the ground level. Now this angle is actually perfect when you want to track people moving through the frame or moving through the scene, and it's also really good to showcase chaos and destruction within your frame. You're literally placing your audience at the lowest level of whatever location you're in, and because they're at the lowest level, it gives the impact of the scene that you're showcasing a greater feel to it, because all they can do is either look at things in front of them, which can be whatever you want to put there, or look up, which, like I mentioned before, when you look up, you give a sense of power to your scene or to your subject. Now a really popular ground level scene is in The Shining, where the camera is literally tracking Johnny's movements throughout this big hotel, and you have these questions in your head like, where is this kid going to? This is like really dynamic because he's just moving and all you can see is just him going through and kind of showcasing the location that he's in before he gets to room 237, which is where all the crazy stuff happens. And I feel like The Shining is a perfect example of how you can use a ground level angle shot to really create a dynamic movement within the frame. So that is my breakdown of the different angles that you can use to pair up with the different shots that I spoke to you guys about last week. When you combine different angles and different shots, you can create really powerful and strong images that really connect with your audience. Now, another video that I might do in the future is talking about camera movement, and Studio Binder has videos on all three camera shots, angles and movements that they do a really good job in analyzing. And when you combine shots, angles and movement, especially, is when you're telling a story and you're creating a movie. You're not just shooting a video, you're literally telling people a story through the uses of these techniques. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little breakdown of mine and this two-part series where I talked about shots and this one angles. If you guys liked or learned anything new, then please give us a thumbs up because I'd really appreciate it. And if you haven't so already, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you guys next week. Take care.